Hi, I'm back with my roommate slash best friend, Catherine.
Hello.
So, what's it like? What's it been like this last year living with me?
Yeah, decent. It's really fun. Yeah, really, really fun.
Yeah, actually, I'm very grateful that I was quarantined with you and still am quarantined with you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Who would kill all the spiders?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna bring this up. Do you remember when we took that class, the poetry workshop with Megan Falley?
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the class, everybody had to answer a couple questions introducing themselves to the class.
With us.
And we didn't look at each other's answers, but we were doing these separately in our rooms. And anyway, one of the questions was, what are you most grateful for? And I, like, during the quarantine, and I said, I'm grateful that I am living in quarantine with my best friend. And I looked at Catherine after we had both posted this. What did you say, Catherine?
I'm glad I live with my friend. Right?
Yeah. I think it was good friend.
Oh. I was just avoiding adjectives.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, it's okay. I know I'll never actually replace the beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, red-headed real best friend.
I thought you were gonna bring up when Megan asked us to speak. And then we were both like, hee, we live near Toronto. And it was just
yeah. So I think it was like the very first class.
Yep.
And we were the only, like, we were both doing, it was like a Zoom call, and we were both in my room. And it was the very first class, so we showed up early because we love Megan Falley. And so Megan Falley was asking if anybody wanted to say hi or whatever. So I raised my hand, in Zoom or whatever. And Kat and I couldn't talk. We were giggling the whole time, like, we love you, we're big fans.
We were starstruck. And then we went back to, we can't do anything without giggling a million times. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun. Anyway, other than that, what's it like living with a good friend?
It's been pretty good. Not the best,
What's something about me that annoys you?
You don't really kill all the spiders, actually. Now I say that.
Yeah, I try to let them outside.
They're just gonna die in the cold anyways.
Is that what happens?
Why was what annoys you?
Nothing. It's strange because we're both like kind of introverted. So we're in our rooms like 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually don't see each other that much. And then we plan to hang out like this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's nice.
A podcast, it'll take 1 hour. No. It's been 3.
Has it been?
Something like that. Round 2, right?
Round 2.
It's taking me a long time. I had to write out my answers.
Great.
It's hard being socially awkward.
I also want to point out that Kat and I only started adulting September.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a dinner table until September, and we've been here since. You've been here since September last year.
Last August.
Oh, last August, and
yeah,
I moved in
January.
like beginning of October last year.
Yeah, we have a coffee table now.
Mm-hmm.
We have paintings.
Yeah, we have stuff on our walls now.
Yeah.
We're adulting.
Yeah.
Check out this like bookcase.
That's
always been there, but that was like
chairs.
Oh yeah,
they're yellow.
We took our time choosing our furniture. We even had like a Pinterest board together. It was fun.
Yeah, created at the end of August. Now everything is teal and mustard.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it. I'm so in love with our house. You're not?
Yeah. Oh, that was a smile.
That was a good smile.
I forgot this is a podcast. That doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah. Sunflowers-ish.
Yeah, all the sunflowers all around us.
Oh, and gray. Yeah. Mustard, gray, and teal.
Yeah.
And plants. There's plants.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all the plants.
Haven't killed them yet.
You take care of them every morning.
That's right. That is why.
But you do too. Don't you have like what's that called? The thing that grows plants?
Hydroponic. I put it in my classroom.
Oh, I thought it was in the shed.
Really?
I thought that's why you go to the shed.
I don't go to the shed.
Oh. This is how often we see each other.
Yeah.
Moving on to a very important topic, actually. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted you on this podcast, is because what you do is one of the many things that I admire about you. And I really do mean that. That's not like fake or anything.
Thank you.
It's actually, you, like, living with you has inspired me to be more active about LGBTQ+ issues.
Oh, you too.
Thank you. I'm not gonna cry. Are you gonna cry?
What? Stop swearing. Stop it.
Okay. Sorry. Did you want to introduce what you do?
Yeah.
And why I'm about to cry.
Stop. Yeah, I'm a middle school teacher. Yeah, I've been working as a teacher since 2017 or 2016. I should know that, but I don't. Growing up, I was actually the quietest kid in my class. I was used by teachers to be like the brick wall between two really, really loud kids, and it doesn't work, by the way.
That would be me.
Yeah. Okay. The loud kid?
Yeah. I got moved so many times because I wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of those? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To make it more exciting, I promise. Yeah, and I wouldn't put my hand up if I knew an answer, and if I didn't know an answer, definitely not. If I had to ask a question, I would just go home and ask my mom or dad to answer it. I remember like giving a speech. We had to do speeches in grade 6. It was about Martin Luther King Jr., I think. And then I had to go up and stand with my cue cards. And the whole time I was just shaking. And this kid was laughing at me like, look at her legs. And I was so scared to speak, guys. I hated speaking so much. But it's completely different when you have to speak in front of children. So a lot of the teachers that I work with are actually also have the same fear of speaking in front of other people. Even to do this podcast, we restarted twice, 3 times?
3 times.
4 times. Now it's 4 times.
Okay.
Right?
4 times.
Isn't
sure.
it? Yeah. Just now. 4 times. And I had to write all my ideas because I don't know how many ums or uhs I'm saying, and I'm too scared to even listen to this when it's done.
I can cut those out too if you want.
That'll take 5 hours. I don't want to know how long it'll take. So it's a completely different world when you have to actually speak in front of adults. And the only reason I guess I would speak in front of adults would be because of equity related things, so such as this conversation right now, and also Creature's pretty sick, so that helps as well.
Is he pretty sick?
Yeah.
I hope that's a good thing.
I don't know. What else do you mean sick? Oh, COVID. Yeah. No, I just mean it's just cool. You were speaking to on the internet. I have to look at my notes. See, this is how nerdy I am. Anyways, yeah. So one of the things as well, like we're working in school, again, it's a different world where you have to speak in front of children, but I've been co-leading GSAs in schools for as long as I worked in the school. And the goal of eradicating any equity issues specifically for trans youth and queer youth, and and it's become very clear when we amplify students' voices that a lot of them are uncomfortable and do not feel safe and continue to take their own lives or hurt themselves as a way to escape the pain that they are feeling. So to get rid of that pain, my phone just died. I don't remember what I was going to say now.
Catherine, she's shoving me because it looks like I'm about to cry. Just looks like, keyword.
And and so I also worked as a guidance counselor where I got to work with students one-on-one and listen to specifically like the need for validation for especially trans kids. So them not being able to hear the name that they want, who have to constantly be referred to on the attendance list in the school system, by their families, by their friends sometimes, as the whatever name they were given at birth that they don't want anymore. The same thing with pronouns. So one thing I really, like, one of the reasons I guess that I'm here right now is just to beg people, especially if you're an adult who has youth in their care, if you're a parent, if you're a social worker, if you're a teacher, if you're anyone who has a child somehow, please validate that. Please call kids what they want to be called. It doesn't do anything to you. It takes 1 second. If you make a mistake, just correct yourself. It's not a big deal. Just correct yourself and then move on and continue to to get used to how your child identifies. And there's a big professional development event I went to, and one of the teachers did something that I thought was very, very powerful, and I wanted to share. So it was a room full of teachers from different schools, and he just talked about how there's so few GSAs in schools, specifically in our ward, but also just across the country. And if a child does ask for a GSA, at least in the province of Ontario, there has to be one. And I know COVID makes it tricky, but before this and when COVID goes away and on all that, like, make sure there is one and ask, hey, why isn't there one at our school? What could I do to start it? But he started off with something powerful as well, where he had all of us write down 3 things we're looking forward to in the summer. It was right before summer break. So people wrote about their families and their friends and where they wanted to go. This was before COVID, so where they wanted to travel, any summer job maybe they had as well, what they want to do with their own kids or their partners, and yeah. And like, I know for particular, like, going up north with my family is a really big part of every summer, so that's what I wrote about. And then he told us to go speak to people that we didn't work with, so not the colleagues at our own school, but from other places that we haven't met yet, and go talk to them for 5 minutes. And we couldn't do anything with the 3 things we wrote down on our piece of paper. So we had to physically put it in our back pocket, but also put it in our back pocket, as we couldn't speak about any of those things or those people. And it was so hard to have a conversation because I couldn't say, hey, what are you doing this summer? Because that didn't work. And they wouldn't be able to share with that. And I wouldn't be able to share very much. So I was just thinking, like, what do I even like? What do I even enjoy doing? And it was so hard to think of it because those were the 3 most important things that I wanted to write about or to talk about. And then when we were done, after having those very terribly uncomfortable situations or awkward situations conversations we had to have with people, he said, so this is what it's like to be a gay middle school student, right? You can't share that, oh, I like this boy, or I like this girl, or I want to wear my mom's dress, or whatever it was, and like, I have to do it in secret. You can't say any of those things that you want to, and I couldn't say any of the things I wanted to because they were tucked away, and there's kind of always a pocket that covers up a certain part of our identity. And I just thought that was really powerful, that he did that. And so again, I'm just kind of asking people, like, if a kid tells you something, please believe them, and please do whatever you can to call out something that's homophobic. If you see another adult doing something, or you see a kid saying something, or you hear a kid saying something, just call it out as what it is, the same way you would do that for anything racist or hurtful in any way. Just call it out as it is and name it. As part of this webinar, I wasn't part of it, sorry, I was a listener in this web series called 4 Big Questions. And I don't remember which of the speakers said this, but they said, like, people have a really big fear of being liked. And so they don't say anything. But really, if your biggest fear is not being liked, and to a point where there's a Black man whose neck is being stepped on for 9 minutes, or there's a kid at home cutting themselves because they don't feel like they belong, really being liked isn't that important. And if you're not liked, why are you hiding?
I wear hats for a reason, Catherine.
If you're not liked, then maybe it's not such a bad thing. Maybe you're actually doing more and you're not complying with white supremacy or homophobia or transphobia.
Right. And I was recently talking to somebody far more intelligent than I am. And they were saying how you can correct somebody. It's okay. It's okay to correct somebody, especially if it's a friend, if they're doing something wrong, saying something wrong, homophobic, racist, whatever. You're trying to help them, and they should be okay with that.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then that's something that they have to work on.
Yeah. And the reason, like, Loud Pride started for you, based off of your biography, was that bio? I don't know, whatever. Bio. Anyways, based off of what you said, is like, oh, I don't want to do more than post a black square. It's really easy to just post something on Instagram and leave it. But having conversations with family members and people you work with can be more tough, but do it anyway.
Yeah, and the more that you talk about it, right, the easier it gets. And the more that people talk about it, and the more that we eradicate this kind of stuff. Because yes, I mean, in the LGBTQ2S community, right, we have to go through so many things, and there's so many taboos that we also are bringing to light. But we wouldn't be here talking about this kind of things, being so out and open, without people like Marsha P. Black trans women.
Yep. Yeah. I think Black women in general have helped push so many things.
I know it's easier to ask this, and maybe there hasn't been enough time that's passed, but have you seen real change in these kids' lives that you've talked to?
I know it's not maybe the best answer, but I think having at least one person or one adult or one friend that they have taken the time to come out to and heard their chosen name called or whatever their pronouns be called, I think that is a big moment for students, and I was able to be part of some of those conversations, which was very moving. And I think just seeing it's not always the acceptance of other people that matters, and also the acceptance of yourself. So seeing kids change in that way as well, where their own acceptance is coming through. I think that's a very big change in kids' lives and adults' lives as well.
Right. And I think it's amazing that you've been a part of this, because realizing and accepting who you are at such a young age is so powerful. Because I don't think when I was in the 8th grade or 7th grade or middle school, whatever, I don't think I would have been able to accept that about myself. And actually, like, I did kind of question it at that age, but obviously I pushed it to the back of my brain, because what was I going to do? My life would be I knew even back then that my life would be harder. And having you around and people like you around, kids like this, they can see that it's okay. And so it's okay for them to accept themselves. And I think I saw this tweet not too long ago where it was basically saying that LGBTQ2S people have to start realizing who they are at 20, because we spent so long, like our entire childhood and teenage years, hiding ourselves and pretending who we are. So we have to pick apart which parts of those things are actually us. So I only recently am now starting to realize who I really am and the things that I like. And I feel like, well, I don't feel like, I know I'd be in a much better place mentally if I realized at a younger age. Like, not saying that I'm not okay now, but you know me. I went through a lot of stuff. And so I think what you're doing is amazing, and it's part of why I started this podcast anyways, because I want there to be more exposure of LGBTQ2S to younger kids. I mean, obviously a lot of the content that I have is not particularly okay for under 16.
Sure.
Or maybe a little bit older. But for the most part, this is the kind of stuff that I want to be talking about. And that's why it was so important for me to have you on here.
Mm-hmm. And what you are doing, where you're sharing part of your life, which is already it's hard. That's why I noticed, and it was that amazing leader from that summer camp who pointed out that, oh, when you're talking, you always say you, even though you mean me. Like, I'm supposed to say I. Like, for example, when I'm telling a story, I might say, yeah, you just feel that way sometimes. When I mean I feel that way sometimes. And she corrected me, and she's like, when you use you instead of I, you're disconnecting from your story. So the fact that you're sharing your own story and actually about yourself, not just a generalization, like, you're doing a lot for people to listen to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even notice that you did that. That's...
Well, I tried not to, since she's told me. But even when I was talking about the media earlier, the part that's cut out, that's what I was doing, because I was like, I can't share.
Great. Wow. And okay, I know I talk about a lot of stuff that I've done, but it's not because it's the main purpose of it is just to kind of share what life would be like as an LGBTQ+2 person, being out and doing all those things. Because I remember when I first realized, I had no idea what I would be doing. Even when I talk about, like, how did I realize I was a lesbian? I didn't know. I didn't know what life would be like, getting married, doing all of these things, because there's not enough representation. And that's really just what I want to do, is have more representation, and that means sharing my life. So that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I'm so proud to be your friend, because you do this for younger kids where it really, really matters the most.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop leaking tears. Leaking water. No leaking.
I like to say that my eyes are just warm. So I guess I just want to end this off by saying a big thank you to you and for all the work that you do. And especially, you know, after living with you is really when I started to pick apart the things that are actually me. And that is, and a big part of that is caring about equality. And I really wouldn't, honestly, I don't, I don't know. I literally don't know where I would be had I not moved in with you. I wouldn't have found my purpose had it not been for you. And I've told you before, I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for you. Do I cry?
Sorry.
Yeah, so thank you, Kat, for being my friend and teaching me so much and helping me accept myself.
Thank you for, well, right back at you. You're the only reason I said anything about any part of me. If I didn't have you, I would still have that piece of paper in my pocket. You know?
Yeah. Right. We're gonna go cry now. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at this feels so strange doing this right now.
At Gay Monologues.
Yeah, do you want to do it?
And
Spell
at AGAYMONLOGUES.
Yes. Thank you, Catherine.
And Loud Pride.
At Loud Pride, yes. That's
Loud and Pride.
so Loud,
right?
I guess I've never really talked about it here, but Loud Pride is an initiative that I started that
What if you never talked about it? You should have its own segment.
I will actually.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Will you come back for that?
Yeah, sure.
Yay!
We're gonna be loud and
proud. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Stop hitting me.
Head advantage. Stop it. Does that hurt?
No.
Oh, it sounds painful.
Wow, let's see.
Kind of.
Well, you beat me to it. You did it to yourself.
Yeah, but it didn't happen to you first. Okay,
I'm gonna end this now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.